Okay, good morning. Today is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen. It is Thursday, January 30th. You have in front of you the agenda for today's meeting. Do I have any additions or corrections to today's agenda?
None here.
Okay. If not, if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. It's unanimous. Thank you. Public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. Comments submitted electronically should be sent to the following email address: bosdistribution@newcanaanct.gov. Anybody? No? Okay, great. I'm so used to nobody being on. Just wanted to go right next. All right, today is our budget vote, our final review and vote on the budgets for fiscal year 2026. With our vote today, we will move it on to the Board of Finance for their review. I believe on February 3rd is the beginning of their February 6th is the beginning of their review. So we had quite a bit of movement around yesterday and got the updated paper here. Okay. So right now, based on the adjustments that were made on Tuesday, the year-over-year FY26 budget is coming in, the general fund budget is coming in at an increase of 4.68. The town budget is up 3.78. The Board of Ed operating budget is up 4.67. We have other BOE expenses paid by the town for their pension and debt, their leases and things, up 4.1%. And then giving a total BOE support of 4.63. And then, you know, we have what we don't have in this budget, and Anne, maybe you can speak to that a little bit. We do not have our debts. We have our debts. No, we do have the debt service number in there. So the things that we don't have in our budget, the things that we don't have in our budget right now that will be available to the Board of Finance and the board and the town council are our bond premium, which we're hoping will be around another 1.6 million.
6 or above. Yep.
But it's too early to take that number in as a revenue item. You know, and given sort of where the level of this budget is, that will hopefully reduce this 4.68 down 1%.
Yes, correct.
And then another, you know, sort of 200,000 or so in.
We have ARPA interest, as we mentioned before, that we can use against some possible tax supported capital.
Okay.
So to keep that consistent, and not touch the regular operating.
Okay.
In addition, I think the Board of Finance can revisit the estimate for interest earnings if they want to. So I think they're kind of conservative right now, which is smart. Everything should be conservative here.
And any tax supported capital or previous premium authorized projects, if those projects are done, those funds can be realigned to a tax supported or another one. Again, that would bring down those items.
And then there's the health side of it too, right? The Board of Ed sometimes comes in at the last minute. We usually find out.
It's later in the year, and I'll just check with Cheryl where they come, because they do that 12-month look back.
Yeah.
Later in the year, they'll true up what they feel the numbers are at that point on both sides of the boats. So that's a possibility too.
Because we've seen some nice savings there, but you never know. That's a very volatile area. So could also get it the other way.
I think the one thing we had asked the registrar of voters to come, one of them to come and kind of go into sort of the rationale for some of the line items.
Yeah.
They were not available to be here today. You know, I think some of the concerns and questions we had, let's go to the page in the budget. Let's see, page 6. Okay, thank you. All right, so the registrar of voters, so we just gave both registrars, well, 2 years ago, it was what is it, a $17,000 raise. And then we just gave him another 1,500 or something like that this year.
3%, you get 3%.
3%. So, but, if you take where they were in FY '25 versus where we're going to be, sorry, yeah,
Well, it was $20,000 per person about
Right.
3 or 4 years ago, and
Right.
now it's over 40,000.
right. So I think until we can get kind of a better explanation of, sort of what the part-time people are being used for, and, because we've got part-time elections going up a couple thousand, 2,000 this year. So that's up 11%. And then part-time salary office. I'm not quite sure, and I haven't gotten a good answer yet, on what the part-time roles are doing. So maybe what we do is we sort of reduce that budget, and then if she can explain sort of the use of that part-time through the Board of Finance, I mean, they can add money back.
Yeah.
Maybe we do it that way, since I can't get a good,
Yeah, well, she's traveling, so we haven't really been able to
Yeah.
connect on it. So
yep. Yeah.
that's fair. As long as we know that if it comes up, the Board of Finance can add if they
Yeah,
have to.
and I can make a recommendation to them to take a look at it and
Yeah.
have her come in and discuss it.
Yeah, and a big line item here is election personnel for 2026. So that's 40,000. That's
Yeah.
a big number. So we just need
Oh,
more.
wait, I'm sorry, elections personnel, that's separate than part-time elections.
Right.
I can't remember how that differ. How does that differ? I can't
You see,
remember.
we don't understand.
Yeah.
So since we don't understand
Yeah.
and the numbers are going up,
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate to do
Yeah.
a suggested reduction, and they have the opportunity to present in detail to the Board of Finance
Yeah.
if we're wrong.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the side of it that's been hard for all of us to understand is
Yeah.
it's an off year. So,
Yes.
that's last year was a huge year, obviously, but now you're going to see a big fall off. So that's not reflected in these numbers. And that's what we've been struggling with.
Okay.
I agree. So what do you want to reduce it by?
Should we do you want to take it down by 10? Do you want to take it down by 5?
You're at 10, 5, 15.
I think, 10 would be motivating to come and really kind of,
Yeah, that's
You
a
know.
big, well, the 10's a big percentage of the budget too. I mean, it's not like it's
what
a
are we?
huge, it's not like it's a huge
What
budget.
are we at 10?
Talking
You know, but Steve, I disagree.
Yeah.
It's $210,000
Yeah.
for this one function. Now, I know when there's early voting and stuff, people have to be around, and that takes
Yeah.
time. But, it's just one function. And we have 2 full-time people, a plethora of part-time people, and none of us quite understand how it's structured.
Yeah.
So I think, again, the opportunity of the Board of Finance, they can build their case.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it sounds like we're,
Well, that's what there's 2 part-time. Is it part-time? I mean, maybe it's election. Well, there's elections personnel, which are really part-time people, right? So they're not labeled as such, but, and then there's part-time salary in the office. Maybe we take 5 out of each. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Take 5 out of part-time salary office and 5 out of elections personnel. And then she can kind of come back and say, no, I need this for X, Y, and Z, and get it to the Board of Finance.
And
that
in
way.
terms of how money is, again, we just don't understand it enough.
Right.
So you get 2 voter registrars. Do they both decide, what part-time people they need? I just don't understand it,
I know.
because, you're co-equals in
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah.
So, I would reduce it. And again, they have
think by
probably a
s-
month
yeah.
or a couple weeks
Yeah.
to.
By
explain
statute,
this.
I believe they're both entitled to an assistant.
Unpaid.
It doesn't, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're paid, but
Yeah.
if people are working,
I agree with that.
All right, so Josh, we're gonna take 5 out of part-time salaries and 5 out of election personnel. All right, does that help? What does that do? Like 0.1? Is that like a point 0.05?
No, but that's only fair because every other department,
Yeah.
we're tough.
Yeah.
on all of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And you just need, it's like when people ask for capital, what do you need it for? We need to understand.
Okay, and then are we good with, so let's go to Irwin, because I think, like, just so we flesh that
But
out.
Deanna, I think you
Oh,
should.
Board of
com-
Ed.
I think you should comment on, we do not opine on the
Right.
Board of Ed operating budget at all.
Correct.
So it's not like we've had the time, the opportunity
Right.
to dig down on that and perhaps parrot. That goes to the Board of Finance. I think people need to know that. And
Yep.
that's what, 75% of our budget.
Yep.
So that analysis will happen in the Board of Finance.
Well, and, we have a great Board of Ed, and all of us have talked to our representatives on the Board of Ed and stressed the fact that we need to keep the number down. And, Hugo's the chair and he's done a good job. I think Brian's very happy with the support that he has from the board. So hopefully the budget reflects, and Brian, in talking to Brian, he's here, he presented, he seems pretty comfortable with it. I mean, obviously every year we want that budget to be as low as possible, but there's the fixed costs again. It's always that story. It's
Well, true, but everybody will put in their,
the wish list.
the wish list,
Yes,
okay?
yeah.
So there's like, there's 3-car garage and 2 will do.
Yeah.
So, but again, we don't get to speak on that. So.
That's true. Well, and anytime we have tried to speak on it, there's always, and anytime we've made random cuts, it's it just never feels genuine, because they do try to scrub it as much as they can. The capital side, we'll talk about that, but. we'll get there
I would
now.
do exactly what Dr. Lutz did. I would come in with, this would be my dream budget,
Yeah.
Well, he came in with his dream budget and then the Board of Ed added to his dream budget.
Exactly.
So,
So we'll throw it over to our buddies at the Board
Yeah.
of Finance. Take a look. So
okay, so I think the two items that we had some questions about, but so I think we should revisit them are the PA system that's in the high school. That was a $903,000 budget item. We all kind of had an opportunity to go look at the system.
listen to the system.
Listen to the system. You're
Yeah.
right. That's, it's an impressive system. I think, it's being, promoted as both, not only a device for better, to help with the special needs community and hearing impaired, but also even the entire classroom, for the ability to understand what's happening in the classroom a little bit better. And then, but also I think the security sides of it are compelling. So I encourage the Board of Finance to really kind of, one, take a look at it, dig into, the costs associated with that system, because it is not an inexpensive system. And I can imagine that next year we will see Saks on that list for the same thing. So it's not, and I don't think there's any economies of scale in purchasing this. I didn't get that impression that,
No,
We're
it's my impression. It's a nonprofit that does this. But he does have a very detailed breakout of
Yeah.
the costs, which of course I didn't look at.
Yeah, I didn't
but
either.
Somebody should at some point. And I do believe we have to do something in terms of the update one way or the other with the whole sound system at the school. So we're gonna have to spend some money somewhere.
Right.
Right. So what's the best way to do it? It is impressive, I
Right.
will say.
Yeah, and I think that knowing that we the three of us have seen it, we've heard the demo, we listened to the big dramatic change it does in the classroom, but we'd encourage Board of Finance to do the same thing if they can get boots on the ground with Brian in there and really see it, because it's important to understand not only the way the system works, but as Deanna said, the security side of it. That explanation was very compelling for me too, because it's, in today's world, all the teachers are going to wear the lanyard. They'll have the ability to basically push a button for security. And it's a very comprehensive system. It's not just speakers in a classroom. So,
And we will own it. It won't be something we lease and get an enhanced lease expense
Right.
year over year. So but it's a big item, so people
Yeah,
should dig
yeah,
into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other item was the 200, what was it? The scoreboard, the 200,000 for the high school replacement of play clocks and scoreboard at Dunning Stadium. So, again, I think it's, it's something that's used not only for sports, but also for graduation and, events that are held there. I mean, I
Yeah.
think they used it when they had the, what was it? Chris Falsetta's Gracie Fund
Yeah, yeah.
event, and
It's
Yeah.
used a lot.
it's used a lot. So I think, I'm okay with that, as long as, I would encourage the Board of Finance to take another look at it as well.
I think this falls under one of the categories that, when we fund stuff, it's
Mhm.
how many people use it.
Right.
Dunning is used nonstop, and it is 13 something years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things wear
Yeah,
out.
and technology's changed, and the improvement that you'll see in the overall experience at the stadium will be tremendous. I mean, it will enhance the entire graduation experience. And we talked to the three of us have talked to Brian about the educational side of it too, because Roman at the high school, who heads up all of the AV programs and all the broadcasting, it's amazing how many of these kids have gone through those on-field experiences or the broadcasting experiences, and part of that experience is the scoreboard and the integration of the cameras and everything, and it's part of that curriculum. So I would support it. And
Yep. Same.
And originally, I mean, was there any town, because the original scoreboard that's there, this predates me, that,
It was donated.
so there was no town investment in the original scoreboard. It was all New Canaan Athletic Foundation money.
I believe that's correct. And
Yeah.
the benefit here
Yeah.
is we're just replacing the
Replacing.
scoreboard. We're
Right.
not doing all the
right.
So they did the
wiring, the
big ass-
tower and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's.
There was a lot of hard costs in that initial scoreboard.
Mhm.
And that was always the sort of the eye-popping number was, oh my gosh, how did you guys spend that much money on a scoreboard? Well, it wasn't just a scoreboard, it was all the
Yeah.
prep to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm okay with that as well. So I think unless I hear differently, we'll leave both of those items in the budget, and Board of Finance can review those items. Okay, so I think the other item that we really want to talk about in the DPD, let's go back to the DPW budget. And Irwin Park, let me get to that page on the Capitol. Is that, okay, five-year capital program. And it is, let's see. Okay, 127, thank you. And so, I guess before we move down to Irwin, I think we all agreed we were gonna remove the Powerhouse Annex for 500, just confirming that is definitely out, and we'll leave the 265 for the original ask from the original.
Well, the increased ask. given the
yes.
increase, But I think it's very clear that the approach on this is very much like Athletic Foundation.
Yep.
The town stands ready for this contribution to the extent the people behind the Powerhouse have the balance in the bank
Yep.
before we go forward.
Yeah, you guys got the email from Patricia, the latest email breaking down where they
Yes,
stand.
I have that here.
Probably should just refer to that because she did some work too.
Yeah, I
put
have
that
it right
together.
here.
So we should
It's a
just-
July 29th email we received from the town players. And it is a 2-page,
January
let-
29th,
did I say? What did I say?
July.
Sorry, January
thinking more.
29th. I am, from Patricia Spagani. We can put this in the record, I
Oh, good,
guess.
good. Yeah, it's just, it's
Tucker, we can put this in the record.
I thought it was a nice breakdown of sort of where we are, where we've been and where we are and where they want to go. So.
Yep. Okay, so we'll add that to the record of today's proceedings.
Good.
And then, so then let's move down to, I thought the only other item that was of discussion was the Irwin Park roof engineering and painting repairs for 1.319. So in kind of discussions in the community and with Tiger, I think my recommendation would be to leave this item in and we give Tiger and Bill Osman the opportunity to get some clear costs associated with the potential tear down of that building, and then bring that to the Board of Finance in their discussions and allow them to kind of, unless either of you feel differently, but that would be my recommendation.
No, since we don't have the full cost, but I will say, we have said for years and years and years, a full plan for Irwin. It's a difficult building
Mhm.
because it's a house
Mhm.
and it has, it's, has some people in it, but it's incredibly underused. It's very expensive to renovate it. It's a struggles always with converting a residential structure to a town structure. And, you know, when we bought Irwin, it was supposed to go down and we kept it for various reasons. And I think we have to make a decision one way or the other. And it would be, I would struggle, of course, it's beyond, you know, I would struggle to put so much money into a building that I think we just don't need.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the three of us were going to prioritize Waveney House.
Yes.
And weigh that against Irwin House, and, you know, just frankly, I learned a few things about the house that I didn't know that are important in terms of it's not the original house during this whole process. It's a house that was rebuilt. So my view of the historic value of a house that was built in, say, 1959 isn't as great as it is. I mean, when you look at Waveney House and the history there, and obviously that is our main asset in this town in terms of everybody looks at that house. So to me, putting the money in the Waveney House is a much better investment than the house and then the Irwin.
Yeah,
House.
I would
So,
say it's a priority. And we, let's be clear, we spent, Tiger, was it 600 or maybe a little bit more fixing the barn, which does have historical
yeah,
significance and is, you know, now increasingly well used for many parts of our, you know, storing our equipment, which a barn should be. But I'm really glad that we have the real numbers in this budget to fix Waveney.
Yeah.
We're going
Well,
to keep that, you know,
And
so.
that'd be a good, this is a nice offset. I mean, you know, there's definitely gonna be costs associated with it, but, you know, this would take a big chunk out of what we have to do with Waveney.
Exactly. And also, you know, we did have 150,000 in the current budget for Irwin, and we paused that. So there are funds
Available.
available that if, you know, for, if we do go to demolition
Mhm.
to offset that.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
but I think it's the idea. What are we doing it for? Big picture.
Mhm.
Similarly, like when we took stuff out of Kiwanis, we need a big picture on how to use stuff.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
So.
I'm looking forward to you leading the charge on that. Okay. So is there anything else that, from our discussion on Tuesday that we want to revisit or, you know, you need more information or have concerns about? Or should we, you know, with,
I feel good about it. I
Yeah.
feel good about it, especially knowing that what the finance department put forward is very conservative in terms of revenues, knowing that, you know, we will have additional
Yeah.
funds to bring down the year-over-year increase. And again, you know, the Board of Finance and Town Council, you know, get to take a look at the school budget, which the schools are phenomenal. What they're doing is amazing, but, you know, we all have to kind of, you know, Deanna beat up everyone before they brought their budgets to us. So
Yeah.
everybody has to get beat up a little bit. In the nicest way possible.
yeah. All right, I had it in front of me. I can't stand all this paper. Let's see, where did I put? There was a walk, just.
Yeah, I mean, I think in just a quick review of, you know, the summary of changes that Josh put together, it's
Yeah.
this,
This is what I
it's
wanted,
the-
yeah. Is this the blue one? Is there a new one from today?
yeah. Josh has it.
Yeah, it's too much paper. Okay, so this one from this morning. So from the original department requests, we are, let me just, I gotta do my quick math, 45. We cut a percent from today, if this number, if this 45,268,
Mhm.
637 in operating, the total town. We're down a little over a percentage from where we started,
From the original ask.
from the original department asks. So we had to put a few things back in. we got some updated pension numbers. So from where I brought it in, pension stuff came in, and we had to put a staff member back in that decided to come back and join us.
Yeah, so
But-
the FTEs shown here, we were at 193 for 25 and we're at 194 for 26.
And
FTE
that's
count.
right,
Yeah.
because the 193 had the full-time communications out, or was that in? Engineering, but the reason we're we're looking to add a person in the engineering department, eventually, so
Yeah, I mean, we've proven that
Yeah.
that's a big need. I mean,
Yep.
that is a very smart
Yep.
move.
yeah, we've consolidated the tax collection, and then we're looking at putting in a purchasing agent. So really, I think, the purchasing agent is, I think an audit recommended addition to the staffing. It'll add I think we'll see, sort of probably better control on costs as we move forward with that position. So
Well, and that's what you look for, efficiencies and oversight
Yep.
and hopefully some savings. I mean, with engineering, hopefully some of that stuff can be done,
Yep.
more stuff can be done in-house and.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're re-looking at a few other things, so, we'll keep trying to create efficiencies in town hall, so.
When one of the great ones you have is, what's the online programming that
the
Open
Open
Gov.
OpenGov has,
Yeah.
and what it has provided is much better services
Yeah.
for people in town and much more
Yeah.
efficient workflow for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So I mean, to
Yeah.
get a building permit, what, in a week now?
Yeah.
Versus weeks. It's
Yeah.
great.
And that adds to and it's improved the revenue collection on all of that, so, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna look to Josh. What do I need to do to? Okay,
Doesn't rerun it.
all right, great.
It's your 10,000.
We have a total tax-funded capital budget of $1,735,100. Our debt service budget of $18,119,275. Our non-wage contingency budget, I don't have this on, sorry. Is that okay?
good.
Could you hear me okay? I have a loud voice. Sorry, our non-wage contingency budget of $350,000. Total library budget of $3,013,500. Transfers and outside agencies budget of $821,000, leading to a total general fund operating expenditure budget of $109,696. Could I get a vote to approve a total general fund operating expenditure budget?
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you. And then we have could I get a vote to approve the general fund revenue budget total of $9,037,152?
So moved.
Second.
And a vote on the fund balance contribution recommendation of $5 million.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. And an amount to be raised by taxation of $169,072,544.
So moved.
Second.
Leading to a general fund operating revenue budget total of $178,109,696. Could I get a vote?
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to the sewer operating and capital funds. We have a sewer fund operating expense budget total of $1,901,289. A sewer fund non-bonded capital budget of $224,000. And then if I could get a vote, a motion and a second on the sewer fund revenue and expense budget of $2,125,289.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. So with all of this, the Board of Selectmen will be recommending a 6.7% budget increase year over year. This budget does not include significant revenue increases that we will be bringing into the budget through the Board of Finance and Town Council processes, which will hopefully lead to about at least a little over a percentage reduction in this. So let's hope we get there. And also just wanted to comment that the headcount number that I mentioned before we went to break actually includes all town employees, which included the sewer fund employees, which are a self-sustaining employee base. So just we are at a lower number for non-self-sustaining employment. So this completes the approval process by, oh, no, I don't need to do it. This,
We didn't. need to
oh, I do
we-
need to do that?
yeah.
No,
Yeah, we
this.
don't need to vote on
Yeah,
that. Okay.
no, we don't need to vote on that. This completes the approval process by the Board of Selectmen for proposed 2025-2026 fiscal budget. The budget will now be forwarded to the Board of Finance as per town charter. All right.
Fee memos.
Where are the fee memos? Okay, where, I need those. Where are the fee memos?
a list of those, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let me pull it up. I have a tablet here. Okay, okay,
Oh, yeah, combined fee
so
memos.
that would be January 28th. Fee memos. Is it at the bottom or what's
Here
it?
we go.
Yeah,
What number is before it?
Number 4, FY26 combined.
Yep, oh, you
says,
just passed it.
It said,
Combined female, here we go, I see it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's item number 4
Mhm.
on the list from, okay. So do we just vote to approve this? I'm not reading all of this. Okay, okay. So could I get a motion to approve the fee memo dated January 6th, 2025 to the Board of Selectmen?
wait, is that
It
the right
says
date?
January 6th on the top of 2025.
That's pretty-
Okay. So if I could get a motion to approve the fee memo as presented in our January 28th budget meeting that are on your tablets.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. So now this totally concludes the budget. Is there anything else we need to take care of before we move to adjourn?
Just thanks to everybody for
Yeah.
all the work they did, because it's a lot for all these departments to go through.
Yep, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And all the work they do, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and all the meetings to come. I mean, there's a lot more meetings and a lot more scrubbing to do, but Deanna took it through she spent hours and hours on her own and then brought it to us. We spent hours and hours to presentations and going through everything. And the process is so at times laborious, but the residents, I think, really appreciate the fact that so much time is spent on this budget, looking at it and making sure everything is there. So thank you for all the support. And Josh, thank you for putting all this together and reprinting everything. Every time we make a change, you're out there running down the hallway, reprinting things, bringing it back. And, we really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
The transparency is really great. And I know it's really hard for everybody to go to all these boards,
Yeah.
but you're reaching more people each time you go, so people understand. It's really complicated running a town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels, a lot of people doing the work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
even though at times, for a resident to view like a 5-hour meeting, budget meeting, it can be boring. But if you put it on in the background and you're doing work, it's amazing to listen to the way, the detail that is gone through. So I'd encourage anybody out there, put one of these meetings on and listen, because it really is, it's a lot of work.
And we're all, everybody, the employees and the boards, I mean, we're trying to keep our increases as low as possible, but we have a very demanding community that wants a lot from from our town. So it's always a tough balancing act. So anyway, thank
Great.
you both for going through this process with me. It
Well,
was,
thanks to you.
you know, as pleasurable as a budget process can be. If I could get a motion.
One just a quick
Yeah.
comment about yesterday, the dedication of the Historical Society. The three of us attended that event, and both Janice Luddy and Jim Bach were honored with the naming of the facility, and just it's another feather in Nancy Geary's cap. I mean, I think it was an amazing event, and it's so exciting to see the progress up there at the Historical Society.
Yeah, and people should go check it out. It's pretty, the transformation's huge.
Yep.
Huge.
And I just wanted to let the community know, I mean, I think it'll be, Brian Fazio is going to be having a press conference here at Town Hall on Monday at 9 a.m. discussing the RWA was the winning bid by Aquarian or Eversource's sale of Aquarian. I think there's some concerns we have. I'm going to be speaking with the CEO of RWA, and we're going to hopefully we want to do what's best for all the people on our town water, well, our non-town town water, the Aquarian water system. So stay tuned. So that's it.
Good.
For me. All right. So if I could get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's
9:20.
unanimous.